Sukalyan, are we getting there?
This is just another case. So this is a large one, bit largish. So this is obviously a cavernous IC aneurysm, and then again the challenge is in crossing. Sometimes it becomes easy for us to cross it with the wire and the catheter, but sometimes because of the wire direction, it usually tends to go away from the outlet, and it's very difficult. And the same, like the last case, what he had shown, that it was a ruptured aneurysm. So this is an unruptured aneurysm, so we can definitely play with it. So this is the angulation. So what you can see that, when the wire goes, it goes to the lateral aspect of the aneurysm. So it doesn't come back medially, and that becomes a challenge. So this is the angiogram. And then again that we went with the triaxial technique with the CAT5, what you can see distally, and then we went with this is O27 and the synchro, the combination, and what we can see that in this area, from this part the exit is, and it was very difficult to go with just a single loop. It doesn't cross because your catheter is in a separate plane altogether. So it has to be in the plane which is quite medial, because as we can see that when the catheter enters, it goes to the lateral aspect of the aneurysm, and it doesn't work. So I tried with many different position of the microcatheter because I didn't want to make too many loops, but it was really difficult to cross with the microcatheter just in without making too many loops. So that's very difficult. And it took a lot of time. So ultimately what I thought is, okay, let us make a couple of loops here and then try to cross the aneurysm and try to find the outlet and then go. So now we can see that there are two loops which are not very friendly, but when you push the wire, it tends to come inside the aneurysm sac as it forms, because there is no support there. And in this situation, to my understanding, I have found that synchro is the best wire. What I use, maybe other operators can put some light into that about the choice of the wire. And you have to have some sort of a support into the wall of the aneurysm to cross, actually. So ultimately, with making a couple of loops, we could cross there, but at the end of it, you can see that the aneurysm, the O27 has gone distally, and I tried with many maneuvers just to take the catheter, make it straight, but it never happened for almost 20 minutes. And then I took a 640 stent retriever. It went with a support of the distal access catheter and then delivered this 640. Why I took 640 is because it's a bit large and it has a good anchor in the MCA. And then take CAT5 a bit distally and try and manipulate very slowly. So this maneuver, obviously, it's not recommended when there is a thrombus inside the aneurysm. So that might dislodge thrombus and can cause some thromboembolic complication. But with the float, with the stent retriever, because it catches your system distally, it is easy for us to make that O27 catheter straight inside the aneurysm wall and find distally. So at this point, now an extension of it is that you can take your CAT5, put this stent retriever a bit distally, and take your CAT5 also quite past the aneurysm max, and that will help so at the end of it, it looks like that. So it is the way we want to put the aneurysm, put the microcatheter distally and without any loop inside the aneurysm. So that's just I wanted to say. Sure. So any other way to, in this?
No, I think that's a great, I think you made a point about the bigger stent. If you use a smaller stent, it doesn't anchor very well. So if you're gonna go, if you try a 3 or a 4, sometimes 4 might be okay. But I think it's a pretty good technique to use
Yeah,
it.
actually, in our center, like the last case what I've seen, that the support with the web, so it is unthinkable here because of the cost situation. So this is obviously, we have a lot of device in our lab from the older cases, and we can use that with the help of those devices. You can do the case, obviously, to keep our
No, I think it was
cost
a
low.
beautiful video, I mean, which showed all the issues. We also love synchro. And then this has become a new elegant way of straightening the catheter using a solitaire or any stent retriever. I think he showed it very well, yeah.
No, the other thing which is sometimes useful, particularly if you've got a very wide neck and really big and wide neck, and you know you're gonna need a very long stent, is to track your Cat5 also distally.
Yes, yes,
And I
that's very
think,
important.
and then if you're not sure, you can deploy your stent into the Cat5, and then you come back or deploy your, if you need overlapping, and then you can deploy overlapping and then retract the Cat5. I think if you got really nasty looking one, and I think in the conference we were, last 2 days we were talking about it.
Yeah.
If you got a big aneurysm, acute ruptured aneurysm, you want to coil it, but if you got a ruptured aneurysm like this, it is important not to just coil it, but you should probably stent it, because once you coil it, you can never go across. And actually you do much more harm to the patient,
So what Dr. Tufel is trying to make the point here is, you know, once you have crossed, it's not so easy to deliver a stent. Even the microcatheter may be like flail in the aneurysm. Once you are across and you got a very stiff system in, you can take your excess catheter like Cat5 or anything, Sophia, whatever you're using, and nowadays Phenom Plus is on a great catheter, you take it across. So the whole system becomes much more stable. So when you're releasing the stent, it's like 2 catheters, and your guiding becomes like another microcatheter, and you can do all those manipulations, so and to deploy the stent through the aneurysm in a controlled manner. And that is what our point Tufel is trying to make, that take the guiding across, and then using that as well, it becomes much more stable to come across. Flow diverted delivery becomes more, because flow diverted delivery needs force to open up, right? If it is something weird angles not opening up, but if you have 2 systems in there, then it's much easier and much more controlled in opening there. Yeah, Professor Vincent.
Yeah. One point I think is very interesting in the remark of making the Cat5 up to the M1 in this peculiar situation is that if you have the 27 and the angulation is really unfavorable, while putting the flow diverter itself, because you are straightening the system, you can reloop inside and lose your distal access, because we have to anchor into M1, so you have to be very distal, but you are losing a lot of room because of the rotation into the cell. So you can, if you can put the Cat5, I think it's a great value. I think as well.
That is another thing
we're mentioning.
So Robinson is saying, even taking the flow diverter, you may lose it again, it may bulge into the aneurysm. So one thing is, get your catheter into M2. Number 2, when you're crossing it with the flow diverter, keep pulling on your microcatheter, it doesn't bulge. It has to go in one smooth go. Or if you have taken your distal access across, then all these issues are gone when you cross it.
So, Vipul, there's one more important thing when you talked about keeping the Cat5 to make sure that the FD doesn't buckle. So remember another step, never push the FD inside a wide neck. The whole thing will buckle inside. You unsheath, you unsheath.
You unsheath, exactly. You
don't ever forget this. And remember another thing, so therefore, make sure your apposition distal to the aneurysm is perfect before you enter the aneurysm.
I think that's a point we discussed last case with Vincent, that it has to be distal anchorage has to be very good as well.
You can't do much of manipulation. You'll pull the whole FD and it will happen so fast that next moment the FD is in the aneurysm and you are screwed. I mean, there's very little you can do.
In later sessions we have some videos where we
so important. Again, go slow. There's no hurry. And a Cat5 is a fantastic idea to get everything positioned distal to the neck, then come back slowly.
Great. Thanks a lot, Sukalyan.